Hi, I'm back. So was The Last of Us. Okay, I love the games. I love them down, bro. Like, I love them. Now, I loved season 1 of The Last of Us. Everything about it, 10 out of 10. Everything that they changed and expanded on in the show, loved. No complaints. It made sense, you know? But season 2... I hate, it really pains me to say I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it. Listen. What happened? So what I'm struggling with is the writing and the pacing, storytelling. So in the beginning of episode 1, season 2, you know, premiere, they tell you who Abby was immediately and her intentions and what type of timing she was on. It was too on the nose, and it's like they're holding the audience's hand throughout the whole thing, and it's still proceeding to happen. We're on episode 3 now. Episode 4 is going to air Sunday, and they're still like hand holding with the audience. It is annoying, you know? What I loved about part 2 of the game, it was bold, it took risk, it was so fun to watch, you know? But they're not taking risks and they're not being bold like they were in the game. And I'm like, it feels like they're kind of watering it down a bit. And it's like, for what? Revealing who she was and her intentions and that she's going after Joel and wants to kill him, it was too fast. What happened to that mystery? What happened to guessing who she was and what type of path she's going to take, who she's after? What happened to that mystery? What happened to that fun? This is your threat. Abby is your threat for this season, right? When you're introducing a threat, have that mystery behind them, have that tension, have the audience guessing and being scared of this girl every time she pops up on the screen, because you don't know what to expect when you see her. You know, you don't know what her plans are. But when they tell you immediately what she's after and why, it immediately just sucks the tension away. And I was just kind of like, oh. And then with Abby and Owen and Mel and Nora and Manny, her whole crew, they have known each other for years, bro. They go way back. When I'm watching the show, I didn't feel that. It just felt like they were all strangers together. I don't know, that's how I felt. Because in the game, and I don't want to keep comparing, oh, the show and the game, but the game did such a nice job introducing Abby and her friends. You immediately got that, okay, they have history. Okay, they're dealing with shit together. Abby and Owen and Mel, that whole, wait, triangle, wait, yeah, triangle, yes. That whole love triangle, they introduced that very well. You just got a sense of their characters and their relationships right off the bat without revealing too much, you know? And then with Abby meeting Joel, when she finally sees the man face to face with the man that killed her father, who has she been hunting down for 5 years, what does she say when she sees him?
You actually are pretty handsome.
I'm nodding like I understand, but I'm not so sure I do.
She would never say that. No one would ever say that to the man that killed their father. Who? And then she goes on this whole monologue. I'm like, girl, just get to it, you know? In the game, there was no talking. She just went straight to swinging. Oh! They were just throwing so much at you all at once. They're like, yeah, this is why she's doing it. You have to get it. This is why she's killing Joel. You have to understand. This is why she's killing him. I just...
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
showing and not telling. They're doing way too much telling this season, and it's like, why? Another thing that I don't really like is I wanted to see more of a shift with Ellie this season, especially after she saw Joel, her father figure, getting murdered brutally in front of her. The way they did Joel's death in the show, they did it better in the game. In the game, when Abby brought Joel and Tommy back to the cabin, her friends were all there. They were checking in with everyone. Tommy's introducing himself. He's like, hey, I'm Tommy, and this is my brother. And then Joel introduces himself to everyone. He says,
Joe.
You felt a pin drop in that room, bro. You felt a shift in the air. Even Joel felt it. And you're just like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. And then Abby just shoots him in the leg, and then it happened so fast. You had a million questions going on in your mind all at once in that one scene. And that's what made it good. Because you still did not know why Abby killed Joel until later on in the game. When she kills him, you didn't know shit. You still didn't know anything. Time jumps to 3 months. She's in this hospital room, probably itching to go after Abby, plotting in her head different ways to kill her, different ways to go after her. You know, it's been 3 months. And she's being cooped up in this hospital bed. That's torture. I wanted to see more of a darker shift with her character, but it just immediately goes back to her sarcasm. Like, I understand it's a defense mechanism. I get that, but she can still have that sarcasm. She still had some of that sarcasm in the game here and there. Dina was able to bring some of that humor out of her again at times, but it wasn't always there, you know? Ellie, the light in Ellie's eyes after Joel died was like gone. Was non-existent. No jokes, no sarcasm, none of that. But in the show, when she immediately starts being sarcastic, I was like, I don't know. But I just wanted to see more of that darker shift of her like really like itching to get to Abby, only focusing on Abby, you know? And then lastly, I don't like how they introduced the Seraphites. I was like, oh, we're getting them already? Like, damn. And I was so interesting to see how they were going to do the Seraphites in the show, because they are scary when they are introduced in the game. Every time you heard that whistle, hold on, hear that? Every time you saw them, you knew you were gonna get up, bro. Like, you just knew. Oh, yes! And the way they spoke, too, at times in the game, they would, I don't remember what she said, but it was so creepy.
They are nested with sin. Free them.
I was like, what are we getting into, you know? Like, it was exciting. But when you saw them in the show, I didn't feel that excitement. I didn't feel scared, and I wanted to feel scared when I saw the Seraphites, you know? And I know we only saw them for like a couple of seconds, I know, but when they're introduced in the game, they're not introduced for a while. There's crumbs, there's a lot of show with the stuff that they painted of their prophet, and you hear Ellie and Dina talking about it, so you're like, who are these people? And it just makes you more intrigued in who they are and like what's their story, you know? But I just didn't enjoy how they did it in the show. I was just kind of like, okay. It just felt like I was watching people having a casual conversation, which is fine, because later on in the game you understand that the Seraphites, they're not so different, you know? They are human, and Abby was able to realize that. So later on in the game, you understand that, you know, these are people too, you know? But you didn't get that realization until later in the game. So showing it so early in the show, I was kind of like, I don't don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Am I still gonna watch it? Yes. I'm not gonna stop watching it. I'm gonna still watch the show and support the show, of course. But I'm just saying, like, I just feel very... I have a lot of feelings. I have lots of feelings with the way they are doing things because it just seems like they're watering so much down. Part 2 of the game is dark. It's dark as bro. Like, it's dark, it's intense. I remember a teaser when part 2 of the game was coming out, a teaser of Abby came out being dragged by the Seraphites and hung, and you're just like, what is this game about? Like, where are we going? It made you excited, you know? I love dark, intense, and right now season 2 is not delivering that dark intensity, if that makes sense. You know, it just kind of feels like, again, the hand holding. They're just holding you by the hand and just explaining everything to you instead of just showing you and trusting the audience that the audience will catch on to stuff. Instead, they're just, we'll tell you everything, you know? Yeah, I just hope we see more boldness. I hope they let go of the audience's hands and just have them guess what's going to happen next instead of telling you. I'll probably upload Fridays now. I'm changing it, the Sunday thing. I probably upload Fridays now, but yep. That's The Last of Us so far. I'm back. Gonna try upload Fridays, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys next Friday. Well, goodbye.